Let us dive deep into the surprising connection of beauty and Qigong. Let us learn how Qigong becomes more accessible through learning about beauty. Tiffany Scruggs has made it her mission to combine both, in a beautiful way, of course. My name is Thorsten Lüdecke, and this is the Wisdom Qigong podcast. So I'm curious, Tiffany, where does the link between Qin and Qigong and beauty come from? How are these two things interconnected?
Well, thank you for having me here. And this is a really fun topic. It's truly to my heart. And I see people in these days getting fillers and Botox. And really what we practice in Zerning Qigong is opening the mind and opening the heart. And if you can truly open in the heart, it manifests in the smile and also the Shen, the eyes, that sparkle in the eyes. So really beauty comes from inside in having an open mind and an open heart. Everything is lighter, everything is lifted, even in your appearance.
Okay, and that's interesting. I think for most people would say, yes, okay, I get this idea. It's only that we hardly ever put the focus on this. So our consciousness is obviously very important. Where the mind goes, the chi follows the flow. So if we all practice an open heart, or if we practice, shining eyes, we don't do this usually with the intention or the thought behind it that it has an effect on our beauty. But I think, by directing our consciousness and our mind in this direction, would you say it's possible to, actively enhance how beautiful you got going through the world?
It is. Sometimes, we have in Zerning Qigong, we focus on, there's the balance between the external and the internal. And, you don't want to be too open, but you don't want to be too closed. And really finding that balance between external and internal. And it seems these days people are more focused on the external. I want to look like them. I want to be like this. I need to be like this in the external, but really coming within and accepting yourself. And I'm hosting these events, and we're incorporating Zerning Qigong with meditation, with movement, while we're applying products to our phase 2 that are also supporting consciousness and helping balance the emotions. So it's been really wonderful. So we first will start by adjusting the body posture. Things flow easier by having better posture and more erect rather than looking down. If you're up and lifted, it's going to help you look better. The
Right.
Shoulders are going to be back. So just really adjusting the body posture is going to allow for qi and blood flowing up to the head and giving nourishment to those facial muscles and supporting that, and to our brain. And then the other thing is we'll do a cleanse. And when we'll adjust the mind, always we'll adjust the mind, coming in, creating a chi field. So we're all working together, again, supporting each other in this chi field of holistic wellness and beauty. So it's really nice to be able to bring the two together. And then we do a cleanse where we have a mirror placed in front of ourselves. And, it's interesting because we have the smile 3 minutes, 3 times a day that we practice in the beginning, or even it's a good practice, a good gong to do. Just really looking at yourself in the mirror and smiling, accepting yourself, connecting with yourself. So we do that in this event. And while we're looking at ourselves, we'll smile, but we'll also apply a cleanser. And this is something you can do at home as you're cleansing your face instead of rubbing it in, being so fast to get to the next task, the external world. Come into yourself and maybe look at yourself in the mirror as you're cleansing. And we do this I love you cleanse, where we do in the shape of a heart, cleansing our face, gentle and very open with ourselves. And so it really eases. So it's kind of like a meditation cleanse, and with the positive affirmations.
That is really interesting that you do that. So you actually, the workshops you are running are focused on beauty. So people would sign up and say, yes, I want to do Qin and Qigong, but the focus is not, like for most of us, health, well-being or higher consciousness. They come because they say, why don't I use this, as a way to become more beautiful? Obviously knowing that everything you've described will support us in our health and well-being, will support us in creating a higher consciousness. It's only that the angle you're using is slightly different than most other trainings I've heard of, right?
Yes, it is. And it seems like these days, you try to think it's how do you bring other people in that may not be as open to Zerning Qigong, or you think maybe many people will come to Zerning Qigong or focus healing medicine at a devastating time in their life. So why not more preventative or in our daily ritual? So I'm trying to bring this into your daily ritual as, when we wash our face in the morning and night, we can have a different perception and really think of adjusting the body posture and a mindset and a positive mindset, and looking at yourself and smiling in the mirror, accepting yourself, which will help open up that heart. And just I love the heart, and everyone, they'll smile when they're doing this, smiling, looking at themselves, making hearts on their face. So they really love that. And
I think this is a really great concept that you've developed there, because as you said, not everybody is, to most people, when they hear Qin and Qigong and they first learn about it, it sounds so heavy. And it always has to do with our disease maybe, or something serious has been going on. But that is not what Qin and Qigong is. Yes, we can use it as a tool, when we have a serious problem. But Qin and Qigong is so much more. And you bring people in here from an angle that is fun. And, who doesn't want to be more beautiful? Huh? It's fun to go through life and, having this radiant beauty and shining and being attractive to people through your energy. And that's a wonderful thing. So, I love how you introduce Qin and Qigong in this subtle way, but it's also, I've been discussing this with the people at the Qin and Qigong Students Hub. How can we reach young people, like teenagers? And when you talk to teenagers, they're not worried about whether they're still fit and healthy when they're in their 70s, right? Now they've got other issues going on. And there are things that for them is important. And, being attractive is obviously important to a teenager. So it's also a great way of getting young people excited, thinking, wow, this is maybe something I could try. But I can't praise that idea enough, because when I just listened to you and you explained how this becomes part of your daily routine, this is also so nice. Just by doing your morning cleans, and to do this hard, it means you're automatically, into the Qigong state. You're automatically reminded of Qin and Qigong and of the power within. So I think this is a great concept, and I'm glad we're talking about it. So how did you actually? Yeah, please.
Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
No, it's you.
Well, I'm trying to bring this Zerning Qigong. It's just not something you have to do like going to the gym or a chore, but Zerning Qigong is a way of life living. Yes. We practice Qigong. I practice Qigong throughout the day. It's something happens, maybe it's not so good. It's like, okay, you kind of, I'm in the ritual. It's like, okay, well, that's fine. It always works out better in the long run. So what am I going to learn from this? And move on. And so it's really a daily practice. And how do we bring people, you look in drugstores or in department stores, the beauty section is huge. People are so into beauty, but really, if you look at people, and even when they're older, in their 90s, they may have some wrinkles or things, but if they're happy with life and they have their family and they're very positive and of course taking care of themselves, eating right, and movement, for sure, it's holistic, but they look good, they have this sparkle. You don't pay attention to all these things. They are not paying attention. So really being in acceptance of yourself, and that's the real big thing, I think, that I try to bring up in these classes. And then we also do some movement when we do chi squats. We usually do that to help move the blood, move the chi. The chi squat will also calm the nervous system. When you're tense, you're going to have tense in the face. When the emotions are out of balance or too much sadness, there's MAPS. We have MAPS, face reading, and there are areas where it may get sunken in here. You may have lines coming down this area on the side of the cheek are the lungs, and the lung emotion is sadness. So we can bring in this next workshop, we're doing a balance your yin yang. We're moving from a hot time of the year, from the yang season from the yang season into the yin, into the cold. So sometimes people have mental depression. I hear my clients say, I get so depressed going into the cold season. So they're kind of already on the downer, kind of things are, I think of the face kind of going down and going like this, and sadness. The emotion is the metal element fall, is sadness. So that's what we're going into, is fall right now. So I'm calling it balance your yin yang. So we'll incorporate some movements. We'll do the chi squat. We will do Chen Qi, of course, to open the heart. It really helps move the qi. It helps induce the qi in the heart and lungs. The heart, love and joy, spreading love and joy throughout the body, and smiling. And smiling is going to help lift the face. So I incorporate all these things in the workshop, because these are easy things that people can do in their everyday life. And that's what I'm really trying to make the connection, is we can practice a Qigong mindset and Qigong living daily with everything we do, and in our nourishment, how we look at ourselves, how we are respectful to other people. When you smile to other people, greet other people with a smile, they smile back. So we can spread beauty and positivity for ourselves, but throughout other people, so everyone can look good. And and then we're doing a meditation. I always bring a meditation, and we're going to do balance the emotions. So balance your yin yang. I have a facial mask. One's black and one's white. So you think of yin and yang. And so what we'll do is we'll be interactive. We have mirrors, and we'll paint. And I have different ways we can use this for what you're trying to achieve with the facial mask, black and white. And what we'll do is, while the mask is drying, we'll go into a meditation, balance the emotions with the 5 zhang organ meditation. And I find that when I use this meditation with my clients, they really love it. And everyone always asks, where can I find this? So I need to make some recordings of this, but it's really an easy meditation for anyone, and even with teens. And it's, if you can balance these emotions, which you can see these emotions in the face on face reading, but if you can balance the emotions internally, the body is going to function better, but you're also going to look better.
Right.
Bringing this, and everyone kind of like a light bulb goes off. And so I'm really trying to bring this interconnection of wholeness and holistic well-being and holistic beauty with Sternang Qigong.
We have a way you can discover Qigong. So at the Sternang Qigong Students Hub, we know that understanding Qigong is very important. And also that Sternang Qigong in itself has various nuances that people can't easily comprehend. So we've approached it in the style of a video game. On this page, Discover Qigong, you can select your character. So you can either be a beginner, a practitioner, or a holistic healer or self-healer. And you click on your character, and it takes you to these different sections. in these sections, you can explore the nuances. And when you click on a card, all of the resources pop up, and we've made it really fun, and not many people know about it. So if you are interested, have a look and discover Qigong.
So when I listen to you, it's even though the topic is beauty, your workshop is not at all superficial, because you're doing some really deep exercises there. And when you talk about topics like self-acceptance, that is usually quite something for most people. So you are going deep with Zhineng Qigong, and still coming from an angle that is fun and a little more lighthearted than maybe most of us would run a workshop, right?
Yes, exactly. And even when we're beginning in the mirror, we'll set an intention, and we light a little candle. We put it in front of our mirror. So I really make it special, but really opening to yourself, and so that people can do this, and they really love it. I think they just people need to be directed a little bit, that it's okay to look at yourself and smile. And we have this gong, and it's a practice that we do in Zhineng Qigong. Smile 3 minutes a day. 3 minutes, 3 times a day. So we will practice that. Maybe in our next one, we'll smile for 3 minutes. But there's also something that comes up is in Zhineng Qigong, and through my therapist training, we did I am, in saying, I am this, I am that, and rather than I want to be this, I want to be that, or I wish my face, I don't like these wrinkles, I don't like this, but I am. So we do a little exercise in, okay, look at yourself, and what do you see? And I start kind of on the negative side, but I have a little notebook for them, and they write down. I ask them, what are the features? Think of the features that you'd rather you change, or maybe you're not so happy with on your face. And people are writing, they just nonstop. I want to fix this. It's easy. And they're laughing and this. And then I said, okay, now we're going to switch gears. Look at yourself, smile. What do you see that you really love about yourself and your features? And there's some interesting comments that come out, but people are not writing as fast when they're looking into the mirror, when they have to pick the features that they really love. And so then we'll move on with your neighbor, your person next to you. Ask them, what do you love about my face? What features are beautiful? What do you like about my face? And the comments are, there's usually a lot of things. When someone else looks at you, you smile. Their neighbor has a lot to say. It's like, oh, I really love your smile. My mom was in the last workshop, and she says, Tiffany, I never like my smile. But such and such said, oh, I really love this about your smile, and it helps radiate your face, and it's just so inviting. And so she now looks at herself, at her smile, with different eyes. And it's all about really opening the eyes. When we get back to, we open the mind, we open the eyes to see new things. So it's really, we get a little deep, but it's light and it's fun. And and we're in this chi field of support. And I really bring that in. The chi field is we're all supporting each other for wellness on the inside and reflecting beauty on the outside.
Do you offer this also online, or do you have to be in person to do this workshop? Because it sounds a little bit like in person works better here.
It is in person, and I've been developing these workshops this year. Have my 5th one. They've all been a little bit different, which I can bring in different practices with Zhineng Qigong and different movements on what we're trying to feature. And maybe we'll do Chen Qi for a longer period of time. But we've done mental beauty, balanced your yin yang, the beginning of the year. I have one coming up in December, which will be Holiday Lift. So I have Holiday Lift. Everyone wants to lift everything for holiday parties, but really, how can we lift our mood? How can we do this from the inside out and really bring the Shen, the spirit of the heart, coming out and sparkling in the eyes and manifesting in the smile? So that will be coming up. And then the new year in January, we have Radiant Resolutions. So really using your mind to direct your year in this new year. How would you like to have this year? What would you like to do? So we do that. Right. But I can't remember the other ones, but it's been really fun. I think it would be fun to do this online. But I've been getting really great feedback in person. So if you're interested.
It's an invitation for anybody who always wanted to get to know California to come and combine it with one of the workshops that you run there, right?
Yes, and I would love to come to Europe.
Okay.
And maybe some retreats and bringing mental beauty and Zerning Qigong and beauty together. Maybe we can offer this and bring Master Lu. I'm sure this will be a question with Master Lu to have his input on beauty. He does mention beauty. When your emotions are balanced and when you're happy and you're smiling, you're going to be more beautiful.
Yes. So if any of the listeners here wants to organize a workshop in cooperation with you, get in touch. Your contact details will definitely be in the show notes, obviously. So maybe we are creating, a new movement of Qigong and beauty here today. Who knows, right?
It is, and it's a way that I can invite other people that may not be as open to practicing Qigong, but really everyone is really focused on how they look. So this is a way that I can bring this in with just daily rituals and daily routines, things we do in Zerning Qigong every day, but they can start incorporating that into their daily lives with a face cleanse and just looking at themselves in the mirror with a smile.
Now, I have to ask you this, Tiffany. How did you get into this whole topic of Qigong and beauty? Was there a personal experience that at one point you said, wow, I think really something is missing here, or something like this should be on the market? Or how did you get about that?
Well, I noticed, we always have our personal story, and through some difficult times in my life, I've noticed that my eyes everything was just kind of down, and this is where I really found Zerning Qigong and many hours of practice and for months and daily. And then I noticed that I would look in the mirror and it's like, wow, things are a little lifted. I'm smiling more. So the practice of Zerning Qigong, kind of as you balance the emotions and things are opening inside, working through those heart stones, it really reflects in the face. And I had people would mention things to me and it's like, oh, you look so great and this and that. And I really bring it to Zerning Qigong and really balancing the emotions was the biggie. Because if you can balance your 5 zhang organs and support them through the meditation and through the chanting was really huge for me, and doing the 5 zhang organ meditation, but with the chanting, the sounds of the organs to really enhance the physical organ and the functions of the organ, but also it's going to help balance the emotions. Emotions are my wheelhouse. I'm a very emotional person. My mentor, he would comment, oh, you're so emotional, you're so emotional. So I embrace all the emotions. But what I've learned in Zerning Qigong is really to try to find balance. And even the wall behind me you can see the wall behind me, there are kind of abstract faces, and this reflects the emotions. And in the center, my mentor, he painted this for me and he texted to me and he says, Tiffany, do you like this painting? The title is The Heart. And I said, oh my goodness, perfect. So on my wall, I had nothing in the middle. And he sent me this painting, the heart. So the heart really is it, the love and joy of the heart. And again, manifesting in the smile, coming up the shen, and the spirit in the eyes. And so that's the emotions are really a biggie for me. And that really helps, I think. And for the function of the organs, the flow of chi in the body, but also balancing the emotions. I would love to show a chart of face reading with the emotions. I'll send that to you.
Okay, thank you. Maybe we can add this to the show notes if we get that.
I think that would be great.
Okay, cool. Then I had a question. Now, when you talk about balancing emotions, that is, as you said, a big one. Not just for beauty. Do you often have it that in your workshops people come because they say, "Well, yeah, that sounds great. Let me be a little more beautiful and let me do this workshop with Tiffany." And then they make progress on so many other levels as well.
They do, and usually when I mention balance the emotions, I get a great response. Oh, wow, I need help with that. I'm so stressed out. My emotions are all out of whack. My hormones are all out of whack. Just all of these things. So really balancing the emotions with this meditation will help balance your hormones. The functions of these inner organs are going to support the inner organ chi, which is going to reflect in those neurotransmitters, better brain functioning, and also with cortisol levels. The emotions directly affect our hormones. So they're very open and receptive to balancing the emotions. It's just a matter of doing the work daily. I find that's the hard thing is in practicing it. So that's why I'm offering these workshops every couple months, because it's fun. And if we hear it enough, they can do this. But usually people are really open to balance the emotions.
Very good. I think that answers most of my questions I had about beauty. And I'm a little sad that I'm 10 hours time difference to California. So it's not so easy for me to just pitch and do my little beauty exercises with you. But I'm sure there's going to be an opportunity one day, because I love the concept for various reasons, as I mentioned. And one of them is that it can, I'm sure it's doing great work for whoever participates, but it also makes Jineng Qigong accessible to people that would normally not be drawn towards Jineng Qigong. And then through the discovery process of what's possible, they might just get hooked and say, wow, this is a great life skill. This is a way of living. And let me explore that further, and then benefit in all areas of their lives. So I think it's fantastic work that you're doing. And I love that you've come with this very innovative approach. And I also love how you keep developing these workshops and adding new things and twisting it and coming with new concepts. So I think there's a lot of room for expanding this idea and taking it to many, many more people in the future. So thank you very much, Tiffany.
You're welcome, Thorsten. Thank you. And I'm very excited about it. And it's just, it's really helping a lot of people, and having the connection. Things happen in life. We have all of these speed bumps in life, that these are things that they can pull on and practice. So it makes life much easier living, and it's more positive, and life becomes more enjoyable and happy. So, thank you so much.
We trust you enjoyed this conversation, and we invite you to subscribe to our podcast so we can stay in touch and notify you of future episodes. We will end today's episode with the 8 verses meditation performed by Jineng Qigong teacher Katrin Hendricks. Enjoy. To get your free ebook on the 8 Verses meditation, please check the show notes below.